Blessings, guys. Today we're going to be doing an editing video. What I mean by this, knowing that I do Shinobi Got Talent, all the winners get a free edit from myself. What more than a better opportunity to show you guys actually how to edit so you can do your own at home. So the software I'm going to be using today is Ibis Paint X. It's virtually a free software, dirt cheap. Same software as I used in the last video. Be sure to check that out. And Shinobi Got Talent, if you haven't already, it's the next biggest thing for Shinobi Striker. But the person's image we are editing today is Sensei Boba, the winner of the previous Shinobi Got Talent. The next episode of Shinobi Got Talent is only just a few days away, so be sure to like and subscribe to the channel so you see that video when it comes out. And the theme of that one is actually the best super armor builds in Shinobi Striker. So as I was saying, we're going to be using Sensei Boba today as our edit. So we're going to go our image here. Now with Ibis Paint, they recently added a feature where it's an AI function and it allows you to remove the background with some moderation. So what you want to do is click your FX filter, go across to AI and click background removal. Now this will allow you to click the screen and anything that highlight blues stay and everything else goes. So what you want to do is click around and highlight the whole of your character to make sure everything's covered. This will give you just a base ground of where your character is and what's on screen, if that makes sense. Okay, see, we've got everything out here, all covered. We've got to make sure we cover the chest. So it does miss something sometimes, but at least it's covered, yeah? We don't want to be missing these hair strands, so it's got some blockade hair. Yes, we can fix this afterwards, but we want to make sure all done, yeah? And we're here, and we're going to remove it, and then we're left with this. Now, to some, yeah, that's fantastic, but nah, blood. Nah. As you can see here, as I go in, there's this line that goes around. Now, to some people, they like that stuff. To me, I don't like lines in my art. We're going to gradually remove the lines of the image anyway, but lines, we're going to remove that manually. So what you're going to do is switch to a brush, get yourself a felt tip soft brush and zoom in. And you don't want to be scratching away because you get this jaggedy style type of line. What you want to do is actually use some actual art skill, and the term is a good line is a confident line. So you want to remove this in one swoop as best as possible, just removing what you don't need, make it really nice and smooth. Does that make sense? Sometimes go around, do it all.
A few moments later.
And when we zoom out, we should have none of those thick lines. You see? Nice and neat. Quickly remove the rest of that. See? So now that we actually have our image, the next most important thing is actually to be able to, how can I put it? Configure the background. Now, one of the biggest things with images is actually perspective. So as much as sometimes people put a background in, sometimes it's not in the right position. The background depth of how images work. So for example, if you look behind me, you can see I'm just going to put a random background behind me. Now to some, yeah, it looks straight. But really and truly, if you look, the angle's a bit out. So what you want to do is make sure whatever background image you are using, to make sure it lines up in perspective. Okay, so we're going to chosen to use the foundation, the root, yeah? One of my favorite images. I actually used this on my most recent thumbnail, you know, the Yeah. So we're gonna load this in. Now, understanding perspective. I can put this here and say, yeah, it fits. But since when was Boba a giant? Yeah. If we look at it, look how big he looks compared to the background. Now, understanding how art works is understanding perspective. Now, when you are drawing, and every artist does this, I get a blue marker real quick. Everything has a central line, a line of where the field of view changes up or down. So if we look here, the central line is here. After everything from here, what's going up goes in that upwards round of motion. Everything on here starts to go downwards in that motion. Does that make sense? So understanding the field of view that you have, it's making sure it matches the background you're going to use. So when I load in my background,
Eventually,
I want to make sure that it makes correct depth field of view. So now we have an image that's got the right things, so graduation, and he doesn't quite look like a giant, does he? You see? See how everything matches the size? Yeah? We got it perfectly right size for the room, not just added the background. So we are next going to work out, make sure that all our light is coming from the same direction. So as you can see here, if I load another one, we can thin a brush this time, our light source is coming down here. Yeah, from the image we can see this, and it's same, is matching on this part here. We've got all our lights coming here, so we need to make this all consistent around the body. So we're going to do some light manipulation. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually add a light source of the color. Now, understanding what light's here, it's a blue light. It's nighttime. It's a blue moon, if that makes sense. It's underground. We really want to reflect that nightness. So we're going to just take this blue, whoops, wrong, and get a brush, airbrush, and just slightly touch this top, yeah? Just ever that so slightly, and just hit add layer. Now this is going to brighten that region. And this is enough to show us where our shadows are coming from. And in the bottom layer on top of here, we want to just do a gray and hit multiply. Now that means anything that we're going to here is now going to darken the image so we can get this nice shadow. Yeah. So first things first, let's add the shadow of a character. Make sure he's actually standing on here. Darker the gray, the better it is for a shadow. Really make this nice and thick and opaque. There we go. So we've got a shadow kicking in here. So important. Because now he's actually standing. It don't feel completely right yet, but you understand that it builds in stages. So before we do anything to Boba, we're going to make sure we put Boba in a folder. Now we go down, go to our previous blue light, and now we're going to use a hard light layer. Now hard light is a very good way of adding a light node to the image without having to destroy what's there, or even having to use add layer so it's that over bright. But it's a good way to add general global lighting. So as we saw before here, I want to attach clipping, so everything that we do stays inside only what it is. If it was outside of it, you see that it's just a line, yeah? But this clips it in. So just want to add a general light source to make sure everything is getting lights. Now understand, closer to the light source, the brighter the light's going to be. That's that bright that's coming in. You see how that added that depth of field of shadow. we're already bringing out the image's pros rather than its negatives. Right, so you really want to turn down that opacity. Whoops. Oh. We built that way. Yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. You see? You see? You see? Ah, see? We're adding that light texture. Yeah? We're making the light there. Now, how we apply shadows can be done in multiple different ways, and I like to use a double process. Now, what I mean by this, I like to make a general darkness, then I add my increased shadows. So first, we're going to make our general darkness. So we're going to duplicate our bottom layer. After, we're going to hit adjust color, brightness and contrast, and reduce. So this seems right. Now we're matching the darknesses, if that makes sense. We're here. But what I want to do, I don't want to just leave it. I want to select out what I need. So what we're going to do, like we did earlier, we're going to go up, clip it down, and attach it to a blank slate. It's completely disappeared. Now we're going to change this now to multiply and actually use a solid white. Now multiply is a darkening of it. Everything dark will be applied. White isn't dark. So when we do a line now, you can see we're getting the darkness, and on the outside we're getting the white. It's only multiplying the image that's there. Always reduce your opacity, because nothing's just one color. You want to build things in stages, if that makes sense. So darkest places get darker regions. There we go. We go up, we attach it, and drop it. Here we go. Yeah. So now we've got a combination of the two lighting elements of what we had. Now we're going to add a darker impact shadows, because yeah, it's there, but there's some creases, some parts that should be just that little touch darker that wasn't available. So what we're going to do again, we're going to go up, add another multiply layer, and we're going to go to a gray. Yeah, back to a gray. Now adding this gray on top is going to darken whatever's there. Yeah. You see? I'm getting that darker regions now. Getting those darker regions. Darker regions. So this is a good way to add creases. Just remember to be light on yourself. Yeah. Making sure we're catching all the dark patches. Sometimes people ask, why do I charge so much on commissions? Yeah, it's just one of those processes. It's just time, skill, different techniques. I don't know exactly always what you guys want, but sometimes you guys don't make it easy for me. See, I made that nice and dark because that part is literally the darkest region. Okay, so there's a few things that I want to do. Facial features and structure. So certain patches always have a shadow. It's making sure the shadow's casted right to make sure it does what it needs to do. Yeah, it's a gradual process. Gradual process. Still removing anything that don't need to be removed. So as we can see here, you got all this bright light. It's not right. It's not right at all. Over here, move that. Set down there. That can go. Yeah. See this? See this? Some people won't see. Oh, no, nope. That needs a blend. Make sure it's all right. Needs to blend in like a good weave. Okay, here we are. So we've got Boba blended into our background, basically, if that makes sense. Nothing too heavy, because we still want to add some glow light layer textures. Okay, why ain't this working? Okay. So now we want to add our light textures. So in his last clip, he did water style and kamui. So I want to do something what's on the grounds of using the combination of the two. So I'm gonna go with a nice blue aura. Now making my auras, you have multiple processes. I think I'm gonna use a combination of all of them inside this image. So I'm first going to draw in my general aura around him of what I want it generally to look like. With that, I just use a general hard pen, pick out the blue that I like. Now, understand, don't always go to the edges for your color, because these are very high in saturation and there's not much depth of difference to it. So what you want to do is go inwards slightly and try and pick out something outside the region in there. Because with color theory, some colors will make things look brighter and some things will make things look darker. So it's making sure everything just flows how you want it to, if that makes sense. So from once I've got my color, I'm just going to shift it down slightly to the whiter section. Zoom in, and I'm just going to paint in how I want my aura to look. Whoops. So what I'm going to do now is actually add an additional layer on top. So this is going to allow me to add the additional aura. I don't believe aura should be just in front, it should be the front and back, but it's making it flow because it's not fire. So we don't want it sparky, but we want those round motions to really give the shape language of water. Now what I'll quickly do is remove the background and everything else just to make it easier, just to block in the sections. Just color it in to get its top layer right. Bring it back in the background. Go under a layer and make sure just block in same again. We use a fill gap tool. There we go. I'll color in that with a pen tool later. Whoops. Damn. Just do it manually. See, sometimes shortcuts isn't always good. Fill this in, make sure all the gaps are clean. Just fill this in, make sure there's no gaps at all. There we go. Catch the back section as well. This can be our base color, so we know what color it is. Come back up a layer. I want some just to, you know, like wrap around the arm a bit. There we go. Nothing too fancy. We just want that water effect. Yeah, round it off. Probably something coming from the inside of the arm as well. So it's wrapped around. Okay, okay. fill this gap in. Just keep missing it. Clean that up, make it nice. Make it round it off, round it off. Roundness is important. Shape language, guys, shape language. So editors still draw as well as edit. We share some skills. So now that we have that essence of water, we want to, how do I say? I want to add a layer. So we're going to add a layer of the same color, but bluer, if that makes sense. It's around the same saturation. Get our brush, and we're just going to brush this in. Actually, let's make it a hard light, my bad. So with this hard light, we're just going to brush in some blue to give it a bit more depth, if that makes sense. Now we want to make sure we're brushing it in the direction that we need it to go, or else it's not going to have the same thing I've been saying, shape language that we need. Add layer with the same color. Now we're going to brush some strokes in. Now we're getting that water direction feel. You see? Okay, we're getting that feel, that water direction. There we go. Same there, add some blue there. Let's make sure it's flowing. If that makes sense. Flowing. So we're gonna go down. We're gonna drop down, do the same thing again with the same blue. Remember, we used the blue with the same nodes twice. We switched to hard light first, so we can paint in our dark blue sections to give it that little bit more depth of variance. Add layer again. Just gonna brush over this, just brushing it in. I didn't clip it, my bad. Make sure we clip it. There we go. Add this. So we're just gonna squiggle it around, give it some variation, if that makes sense. Ain't got enough blue underneath. But feel free to adjust things as you're going along. You can see that it's starting to bring it more lifelike, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna switch back to the add now. There we go. Adding these effects, just giving that idea, that feel of water. Just had some zigzag that added some really nice texture as well. Do that for the top layer. So we do some swirly patterns on this. It makes it really watery. I like it. I like it a lot. It's just experimenting, making sure you get the styles after. See how watery that looks now. Yes, sir. Love it. There we go. There we go. There we go. So now we're going to that. Now what we're going to do is actually merge these layers, and we've got two chances, the opportunity to actually make this glow. So I'm going to use a combination of both effects, style, inner glow. Then what you want to do is add the blue that you was using before and just spread the radius a bit so it comes on the inside ever so slightly. You just don't go too far. I just want that blue to come through. Reduce the opacity. This don't seem like the right blue. There it is. There we go. That's a lot better. Push up the radius. There we go. Then we're gonna add our outside glow and change that to the same color to make the radius spread out of it. Let's give it like a blurry glow type of feel. You see? Here we go. All right, we can change it to an add layer now, so it's gonna make it nice and bright and almost see-through. We'll do some more with that shortly. But what we're gonna do now is switch to the top layer, and we're just gonna go straight in with doing a bloom. So this allows you to spread the white light of what's going on across certain regions, and it's really gonna give a really good depth of field that the water's moving forward rather than just stationary going off to the side. As you can see here, You know what? Let's add the same thing to the bottom one as well. Here we go. Give that some really good color, really good brightness. But what we do need to do now is actually add some more glow to this region. I don't know if you noticed, like, we've got no glow tips, if that makes sense. So we need to make sure these edges are catching the light of the glows that we now have applied, because we can't apply lighting if we don't know where the light is coming from. So we're just adding it to the edges carefully, just catching in exactly what we need, nothing more, nothing less. So you notice how I put a bit of glow and I stopped because there's catches. Light don't go through everything, so it's just making sure you're catching the light in the place that needs to be caught. Don't look bright enough here. Don't look bright enough. I just need to make it brighter. Add some hard light first, just to make the edge of it really glow. Damn. Alright, I need to fix this because this don't look right. So I need to remove some of this so it comes round. It don't look like it's wrapping. This is what I said earlier, don't worry too much. Don't be afraid to shape things. There we go, just removing this. There we go. Don't need glows that we don't need glows. There we go, it's a lot better. We've got that dark edge now. Sort this out. This don't look right, so what I'm gonna do is just add a little blur. It's gonna give that depth of feel to it. See how much better it looks. So much better. So much better. Look at it. Ah. There we go. So, next. So yeah, this is great, but it needs that extra feel of glow coming from the center. So what I'm going to do is just add a nice hard light glow around the back to bring out the character, make it stand out from what's going on, if that makes sense. And we're doing this with color theory. We want the brightest section to surround what we're trying to focus, and we're going to make everything else darker. Does that make sense? So what we're going to do now is actually add another add layer. I'm just going to put a ring of light on the floor because he should be projecting this light. And we're going to really start building this character into its scenery. So what we're going to do is do the duplicate layer like we did earlier. After reduce the brightness all the way down, so therefore we can mask in the sections that we want to give this a really dark ambience. You see, as we did before, we press make a new layer, click the top layer down, and after we paint in, we multiply with white, and this will paint in dark areas that was selected earlier. So now we can actually start shaping the background to how we want it. So now we're starting to get that nice darkness in the background. It's really starting to bring out the character. You see what I mean? This is what I mean by making sure colors and everything are just right. It's still the same color, it's just slightly darker. And this is why you can't just go for full saturation, because not once have you seen me use full color. Let's go. Got that. So what I'm gonna do is just add I just want to add some fog, some smoky fog, if that makes sense. So if you haven't got the fog nodes, you can use this, or you can use this called Real Clouds, and it works just as well. But I'm gonna use fog. You can download this in the online section. So we're gonna make this gray and just put a little bit of color in there. We're just gonna gently paint in the little clouds, like Bob Ross. There we go. Yeah, let's remove that. I don't like how that looks. But we're gonna take out what we do, and remember guys, what we do in the back is what we do in the front. So we're gonna scroll up, we're gonna add a layer on top, and we're gonna add some additional smoke in this corner. So it really wraps around and gives that feel of smoky, foggy, ominous-y vibes. And we are going to put the Shinobi Got Talent logo like literally there as well. But what you can actually do is still, clouds have highlights. So you want to actually just clip on and try and add in your own layers of added cloud on top of the clipped cloud. It'll be speckled. It'll do this type of effect. It won't be all of it, but it really does put the icing on the cake. Here we go. See how good that fog looks? All glow on this edge. It don't look quite right. It looks empty. There's a glow section here. We need light on both sides. So we're gonna actually use the color add first. Yeah, I know I'm doing it backwards, but when you've been doing it so long, you tend to remember the process and things you can do. You can do some things backwards, but as long as the end result's right. Yeah. Let's catch this edge a bit. There we go. There we go. Catching these edges. There we go. It's an additional color. It's slowly brightening the region. Slowly brightening. You see? So much better. Just a touch. You see how that's that one little line of light that did so much for the shape of the nose? Yeah. So as we know, we was doing the DOJUSTU Shinobi Got Talent, and he used kamui with this water. So I want to add my own kamui effect. So bear with me, I'm gonna show you how I do mine. So you're gonna put lots of dots around on the screen. Yeah. So as many dots as you can, and you want it more thicker dots on the outside rather than the inside. Yeah. So you want it more dense on the outside than the inside. I know it looks like snow, but just bear with me. Yeah, got all these dots and these speckles. Yeah, extra thick on the outside, less on the middle. Yeah, doesn't matter if it splurs a little bit, but as long as they're mainly dots. Now you want to go to effects, transform, then twist. Then adjust your radius and aspect ratio so it really grabs the whole of it. And now you have this kamui effect where it's pulling things into the character in this spiral motion. Just tweak with it how you like it and you'll get exactly what you're after. Hit add. There we go. Look at that kamui effect. You see? So next, what I would like to do is just get a brush and just make sure it's the cloud brush and just kind of remove some of the dots ever so slightly. This is gonna give it some variance, so don't feel like it's just dots swirling. It's gonna give the effect that something's being pulled. There we go. Switch it to an add layer. We're almost practically done. So we're gonna add an adjustment layer. We wanna like grade this background so we make sure everything's going in the right direction. Now this is only available on the paid version, but the paid version is like less than $4.99. I do really recommend this. It's going to take your images to new heights. You can see it. It'll allow you to remove certain colors and add certain base colors to make sure the image has a whole rounded feel of color. This is similar to Photoshop's raw camera filter, but this is their version. Yeah. Now we're just gonna load in our Shinobi Got Talent logo. Okay, so we're loading our Shinobi Got Talent logo. We're gonna slot this just here in the middle. Yeah. Duplicate it, lift it up, drop it on top, drop it down, and then we're just gonna erase. Just gonna remove sections that we don't want to see. If that makes sense. See? We want it like it's blended. We do want that blended feel, so it goes underneath it. Yeah. So from here, we're gonna just brighten it up a bit. If we go to effects, this one here, after bloom, that bloom effect, it's gonna brighten it up just that little bit more. Yeah. What we do on the top, we do to the
Pause.
So it just brightens it up just that little bit more. Now I want to, how do you say, add text. Text is one of the hardest things. It's making sure you've got the right thing to match what's going on. I don't know how to spell your name, blood. Put it in. I don't know what's going on with my typing today, guys. But okay, there we go. Sensei, 2 eyes, and Bova A. Yeah. So you can kern your text, making light spacing. You can just adjust it how you like it. I don't know how I feel about this. It seems so plain. I think we might change this gold actually. This is my very own gold. I made it myself. All it requires is you just to use that color, then use that add layer on top with a brush, and it will really brighten it into that nice vibrant gold that you see me use. You see? So use a brush because it's kind of strong. Yeah. So just do this across the whole thing. Yeah. But just the one part, just making sure it's glowing at an angle. You see? That looks so nice. I just don't like the text. The color's right. I need different text. No, that's too big. Ooh. Ooh, I think we found a winner, guys. I just need to shrink this down a little. Yeah, yeah. I think we found our winner. I like this. Right, don't look right. The name don't look right. Sorry, Boba. I need to check if I spelled your name right.
A few moments later.
Okay, yeah, spelled right. Okay, got it. So, next part, just need to add our first place. We know what font we're using for this. Place. There we go. Font. T-motor. Put this underneath just nice and neat. There we go. Style. I'll make this white. Let's take this underneath first. So it's gone to the back. So it's at the back. So we've got this depth of field. Make it hit add. Okay, it's not enough. Now we're gonna add our add this bloom to it like we did earlier, just to make it stand out a little bit. We use a zooming blur for it, and we're gonna put in the eye perspective of the face, so everything's coming towards that point. You can change the radius, how thick and how much you want to get it just right for your image. What I want to do is add some additional lighting. So now when you have lighting, you get those, okay, that's what you call it. You normally see it often in movies and stuff like that. I just want to add some of that to the image. So the way we're going to do that is literally, if I go to the top, insert a new image. So here's our bokeh. Make it big, blow it up a bit. I want this from the corner because this is from the surging water. I could use bubbles, but I'm gonna just use this. I want it lighting. I'm gonna hit add, so it makes that, it's too much. So what we're gonna use the same technique we used earlier. We're gonna literally open up a new layer, clip the top layer to the bottom layer, and we're gonna brush in with black this time. So if we're adding layer, we only can see light colors. So if I'm using black, this is now gonna allow me to see only the bokeh spots that was present. And there you have it. There you have it, guys. there you have it, guys. Oh my gosh, looks so beautiful, right? Looks so beautiful, right? Hey yo, I love it. Let me know, guys, what do you guys think? What do you think of this edit? Shall I do more of these? If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Shinobi Got Talent's coming out like in a matter of days, so make sure you are subscribed to the channel, and I'll see you guys soon. Blessings.